Meteorologist Chris Holcomb. So Chris, what impacts can we see here in Georgia?
Our impacts are going to be rather minimal here. We're going to be dealing with some breezes, just a couple of spotty showers, but most of that heavy rain is really going to be concentrated here in parts of southeast Georgia and also parts of central Georgia. You can see the structure of the storm here now with that main rain shield to the south, but look up to the north here, closer to the Atlanta area. There are just a few spotty showers traveling around in the flow of that, just kicking up a few showers that are really small. They're fast movers and they're not really causing any issues. They're not severe or anything. We've got a couple of those here on the south side, a few more down just to the south of us here, down into parts of southern Meriwether County. A few of those just went through the Griffin area too. But here is the main part of that system. You can see the center of circulation right now is just crossing over from Florida into Georgia. There's that center of circulation right here. And look on the right-hand side, these bands of really heavy rain covering a big part of southeast Georgia and even moving up toward the Savannah area here where we've had really strong rain bands, heavy rain bands that have been moving through there during the day today. And as you can see there, they're not only getting that heavy rain moving through, but also the potential for some severe weather moving in too with a tornado watch that's in effect from the Savannah area on the Georgia coast up into parts of South Carolina. We have team coverage for you tonight from the Weather Channel's Jim Cantori in Charleston, but we begin tonight with Cody Alcorn in Savannah. And Cody, not only do you have a tornado watch in effect for your area, but you guys had a tornado warning in one of those bands a little bit earlier.
That's right, Chris. Just getting my phone out. They're going off. We're actually under a tornado warning once again. It's in effect for Savannah until 6:30 here in Chatham County. So this is our second tornado warning we've had since we have gotten here into town this afternoon. So we're keeping a close eye on that. But you can see the river behind me. These bands are really starting to come in. So we had about a 15-minute lull, and just before we went on the air, this band started to come through, dropping this heavy rain. And I'll tell you, Chris, just in the last 10 minutes, this was a dry street here on River Street. But as these bands pick back up, the water level comes up. This is typical, though, for River Street. This is not unfamiliar territory. You see some of the sandbags here on the shops that have decided to close. However, there is at least some restaurants here on River Street still opening. As you can see right here, the Broken Kill is open right now for business. But you can see the water really coming down here this afternoon. These gutters are full. The street, again, as the bands come in, these streets will fill up. But they actually, the water goes away pretty fast once the bands move. But the problem is we are under a flash flood warning until 11:30 tonight. They're calling this life-threatening. In fact, this storm system has even canceled the vice president's visit. Kamala Harris was supposed to be in Savannah on Friday, but they have canceled that because of this historic and life-threatening storm. And again, this is a tropical storm, but the concern is major flooding, and they are saying this is going to be life-threatening here along the coast. We're expecting between maybe 10, 15 inches of rain. So you can see this band coming in now. The winds are picking up a little bit, but the wild part is we're not even expecting the worst of this until about 11 o'clock tonight. We will be here, so make sure you tune in around 11 o'clock here on 11 Alive News. We'll be live here on the ground in Savannah. We're really expecting the worst part of this rain and some of those winds to pick up as well. In Savannah, Cody Alcorn, 11 Alive News.
Cody, I want to ask you a question. What is the sense you're getting from the people around there? Because I know they've been through a lot of these tropical systems before, and some may be thinking, oh, it's only a tropical storm. But this isn't only a tropical storm. This is going to be a major flooding event. Are they taking it seriously?
A lot of the locals are, but Chris, at our hotel right now, there is a convention underway. So there are a lot of tourists here. There are a lot of people for conventions. This is a tourist town. So there's a lot of people that are caught in this storm, and that's what the city is really trying to get the message out. While, yes, this is just a tropical storm, but do not let your guard down. We're talking possibility of flooding they have never seen here in Savannah, as this storm is expected to stall, and this rain event is expected to go on for several days. So really, you shouldn't just say it's just another tropical storm, because the threat really is now impending here as these rain bands really start to come here into the city.
All right, Cody Alcorn, thanks. We'll look forward to your live report again tonight at 11 o'clock after the Olympics. Here's the latest track we have on the system. You can see the center of it now is right at the Georgia-Florida line. It's going to move up toward the north and east. But look at this. This is tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock. Still just getting to Savannah. That just kind of goes to show you how slowly the system is moving. Then it moves up toward the South Carolina coast, maybe even moving back out over the Atlantic, getting a little stronger, moving into the coastline, and then still pushing up toward the north. It's going to be something that we're going to be talking about about for a long time. As that system leaves the Georgia coast, it then moves to the South Carolina coast, and that's where we find the Weather Channel's Jim Cantori with this report.
So we await Debby's arrival, which is going to be a slow movement here to our south, then off to our east, and maybe to our north. But you know, this is going to take the better part of the week to get out of here. So you're talking about tremendous amounts of rain. Charleston, South Carolina, which is where we are here out near the Battery, usually gets about 50, 60 inches of rain a year. We could get, in a worst case scenario, half of that in 3 days, which would be horrible. This city has a hard time draining. When it rains hard, which it did earlier today, streets flood. They're already closing off a lot of streets, but they are prepared. There's a lot of pumps coming in. The mayor has asked the governor to provide them with additional pumps. They're also ready for any power outages, even though this isn't going to be the strongest storm in terms of the wind. But here's the deal. Everybody just needs to stay at home for the next several days and watch on this one, because we've already got flash flood emergencies in Florida. They may move up into southeast Georgia and eventually into South Carolina. It's going to be a long week dealing with Debby. In Charleston, South Carolina, I'm meteorologist Jim Cantori.
All right, Jim, thank you so much for that report from the South Carolina coast. So to summarize here, this is what we're watching. The storm track is going to be moving slowly there in southeast Georgia to along the Georgia coast. The greatest impacts are going to be in South Georgia and in coastal Georgia with that heavy rain and potential flooding. Here in the metro area, you maybe notice some of the wind blowing a little bit today. We're dealing with just mainly breezes. As we stay on the west side of that track, our impacts here will be minimal. Stay with us. We're going to have much more for you in our full forecast coming up.